I cried for 3 days. I cried at the dentist. I cried at Target. I cried on my couch. I cried everywhere I went. I cried for 3 days. And on the fourth day, I got up and I chose to start over. Today, I'm telling you the truth about the season that almost broke me and exactly how I found my way back, or really how I'm finding my way back. Stay tuned with me on today's episode of Idea Tennis.
Welcome to Idea Tennis, where we challenge ideas, elevate thinking, and serve up conversation that make you question everything.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So my question for you today is, are you back or are you still in the background?
I am back.
You're back.
I am back. It's crazy when life happens and you're like in transitional seasons and you fall off your game. So I was still doing work and planting seeds in the background, just not in the forefront. But I'm still currently out of sync with my day-to-day routine. And I think that's because I need to find a new day-to-day routine. I'm back. We're in the forefront and we're figuring it out as we go.
While you was taking vacation in place, your boy over here, I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. I've been working, my friend. It's okay. Some stuff for you later on we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I got a whole lot of solution. I got a whole lot of stuff that's ready to hit front stage that I'm going to need you to kind of put your eyes on. Jess, I've solved a whole lot of things. We ain't going to talk about it on this channel right now, but I have to show you the discovery, the solution. Somebody can help me build to that problem got solved. Jess, we are in business, my friend. Let me put it that way. We are in business.
Solving a lot of problems. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah.
So, wait a minute. What are we going to do with this podcasting? You know what? Let's make this a catch-up for the folks that haven't heard from us in a while. For the folks that's listening right now, let me give you an update. Jess been having she left one mountain. Let me give it. Jess left a mountain. She saw another mountain she was trying to get at. So she was coming on this old mountain to get to this new one. So the last few weeks, she's been in the valley. She's been in the valley, and now she cannot figure out how she can climb this new peak. It so happens that I got some ideas for the new peak, which we're going to be working with over the next few months, because I got some stuff, Jess. But anyway, so tell me about the valley right now. Give some folks an update about the valley that you've been over the last few months, why you've been absent from giving us new updates on the podcast channel.
Yes. So it feels good to be back with you on Idea Tennis. Major life changes. We've spoken about this in past episodes. The valley is where you go to grow, where you figure out how to get to what's next and what's waiting for you. And so being in this valley in this season of my life, I've embraced it. Where normally I would be questioning what's next, I have no answers, none whatsoever, in terms of the what, the how. All I know is that I am putting in the work and leaning on God to lead me, to lead the way for me. It's been an interesting season of becoming and learning and figuring things out. And so while I wasn't on vacation, Asher, right, and I was working in the background still building my coaching community and still doing some things. We did take a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast because life was happening, but I'm back. And now we're just focused on the solutions you found, the solutions that I am looking for, and just building what's next. Like I've said in the past, exciting, scary, and I know that God has something big, bold, and beautiful waiting.
Here's something else that's interesting, because I'm prepping for a podcast episode for my other channel, and one of the guests, I was trying to figure out my opening concept, and I think it might just work for us today, Jess. It's probably gonna do it, but it's not gonna be the same from you and from the other person I'm gonna the episode with. But this is the opening. The end is the last stop of one journey and the start of a new dream. And the flip side is celebrate the ending too long and the new dream leaves while you sleep. So Jess, you wake up? Are you awake?
Oh, I woke up a long time ago. I didn't stay asleep too long. I will say this. I cried for 3 days. I've shared that with some people, not a lot of people, but I cried for 3 days. And to me, and I'm getting emotional thinking about how I cried for 3 days. It was almost like the release. I felt bad at first that I was crying. One, because it's so not like me. But I also realized that I experienced something that I've never experienced before. And I've also experienced something that most people will never experience in their lifetime to the extent of which I did. And so being able to close a chapter that was for 35 years of my life and start a new chapter, I guess I needed to cry for the 3 days to let it out, to release it, and also to process, because that's the thing so many people skip over, the process part. And me being me, that type A personality, for the first time, I just lied because it wasn't the first time, because I've had mindset coward is the reminder. This is not the first time where I have not been in control of my own life. But I can control how I feel. I can control what I do. I can control whether or not I allow myself to stay in that space. I cried for 3 days. On the fourth day, I woke up feeling different. I still didn't have the answers, but I felt confident in knowing that the answers will come. I just have to do my part. I need to figure out a new way, and I'm up for the challenge.
When you say you cry for 3 days, you know what comes to mind for me, Jess?
What comes to mind, Asher?
Jesus wept. And he was down for 3 days, came back up. So that's what came to mind for me. I don't know if you feel like Jesus wept for you too, but are you wept for Jesus? But either way, you wept for the older version of yourself,
Yeah.
and then you figure out I gotta resurrect. 3 day resurrection for you, and you're back on the market, back on front stage, and now you're like, okay, what's next? Because guess
Yes.
what? You can't be asleep on the next friend.
And it's crazy because so I've been working in the background. I just haven't, again, been on the forefront. Anyone who follows me on social media knows they have not seen me for a bit with original content, that is. But in working in the background, I've had things present themselves, opportunities present themselves, people cross paths with me that have really allowed me to think of things in a different way, to be able to think of expansion, to think of scaling, to think of what else. When we think about being an entrepreneur, you've all heard me say you have to do one thing really well before you can move on to the other things, because there's no way you could do all things really well. And so I've done one thing for a very long time now, and I got really good at it. Could I be better? Absolutely. Everyone could be better, right? When you stop learning, you stop growing. And so for me, being able to learn and evolve and grow is all part of that process. But now it's like opportunities are presenting themselves to be able to expand on that one thing that I did for such a long time and be able to scale my business and all the other things that I've been working towards doing. So it's exciting, even in this space of the unknown, this space of becoming, because I've practiced a heck of a lot for this day.
I think the theme for this conversation is going to be resurrection. I think the theme for your valley moment right now is resurrection, if you agree. And then,
I agree.
yeah, you agree? So the resurrection of Jess, this new person that's going to come to life now, I'm curious, being in the valley, looking at the new mountain, what is it that you want to go find on the new mountain? How you want to feel on the new mountain? And who you are going to recruit? Or you going to put on your disciple list to help you go climb that new mountain and enjoy life with?
Something that I have struggled with for a very long time has been asking for help.
Okay, say that differently, because I think people hear that word and they just blow it off. What is another way of saying that?
Jesus, Asher, another way for asking for help.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
What is it that you normally do? And then we're going to invert that.
Yes. Okay, wait. So I'm also going to say it's not necessarily, I guess it is asking for help, but I've always been very private. And I've dealt with personal and business on my own. I've always been the type of person to have this I'll figure it out mentality. The crazy part is that my coaching is based in community, but I've always just dug down in the trenches and put my head down and worked through whatever it was that I was dealing with, personally and professionally. And the personal stuff that's been happening in my life that has really impacted everything about me, my business, my mindset. I've dealt privately for such a long time that I realized in this phase and season that I'm in the valley, I cannot get to what's next on my own. And it doesn't mean that I have to share the intimate details of my life with everybody, but it also, I can't, and then example, and this is for anyone, you can't say you feel lonely if you don't reach out to people and let them know that you feel lonely, right? You can't say that you're hungry, but you won't reach out to someone and say that you need food. You can't say that you're tired and not get the rest that you need. You can't say those things without doing the other thing. And for me, for such a long time, yes, you have a therapist, you have an advisor, you speak to people in a professional capacity to help you get through the challenges, to help you get through the things. But you need people in your everyday, day-to-day life that are going to help lift you up, that are going to help motivate you, that are going to help you show up even on the days that you don't feel like showing up, that are going to help you remember why you do what you do, that are going to cheer you and check you. The people that are going to be like, you're dealing with something alone when you shouldn't deal with it alone. That's not how you deal with life alone in a bubble. That's not realistic. I don't have the answers to all the things, and I'm okay with that. I'm grateful for the ability to be able to connect with people that I trust and I love and share what's happening in my life and say, this is a season where I need to be loved on. This is a season where I need to be checked on. Check on your strong friends. Hear people say that all the time, but do you actually check on your strong friends? And when I mean check, it's not just like that whole cheer and check. Cheer them on, but also check them and deal with this alone, or what you just said or what you just did is not reality. Bring you back so that you can have a realistic expectation of what this season should look like and can be like for you in your life. So many people skip those parts.
Let me see if I can flip this a little bit. I think we're growing accustomed to our excess labor mindset versus the leverage mindset. And maybe you're used to doing everything yourself, labor through it, that's your sweat, everything, and you figure it out. But now in the state of life you're in, you gotta flip the mindset now. It's gonna be the leverage mindset. How can you leverage these people that you've been pouring into now? So I'm saying just, yeah, asking for help, meaning what that means is you start leveraging the people that you've never thought about asking for help with, because they can do something that can make life a lot more easier. But you're not pulling that lever. You're still stuck in the labor mindset. The labor mindset is gonna burn you up, my friend. And you've experienced
I'm
that.
not anymore in that labor mindset. I'm in the leverage.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure about that. It's so funny. I had a conversation with a client and she was like, I love our community. She goes, I know you're going to scale. I know people are going to join the community, but I love us the way we are right now. I said, sorry, Charlie. I love the community I built. I love the people who show up for themselves and for each other, and the work ethic, the bonds, the friendships that are formed from people in the community. but I need to scale it. I said it would be selfish of me to not scale and offer the opportunity for growth to other people who I know are looking but don't know where or how. So I was flattered by the fact that she said she didn't want it. She didn't want any new people in the community because she's gotten so much out of it. And that was the reminder of, okay, I need to take this opportunity of my growth, my personal and professional growth, and invite more people to join on this journey to be able to grow and scale what they've started to build or what they have a desire to build.
Here's my answer for that person. Because it's just interesting that they say that. You know why they say that, Jess? Because they don't understand what it means when you build a community. So if you find, what are you going to do when you find somebody like you, right? The people like you know what happens when they come in? It's like, oh, another Jess is here. Oh, I got more of Jess. So they're thinking that you're going to be a bunch of people that come in that doesn't align with you. If they come in and align with your thing, therefore, it's you duplicating 20 times. That means, that, oh, this person's like very similar to Jess. I think, or Jess think. Therefore, I'll get more out of the community because the people are showing up are very similar to Jess. But if they show up and they're not like Jess, that's when I'm like, oh man, I lose contact with Jess. But no, if I get 20 Ashers in the community, that means this 20 Asher reached out. You're more happier because those people align with you. So that's the missing piece that people think, oh, if that happened, I'm gonna lose all of my reach to Jess. No, you got a lot more of Jess in the community. No, you get to scale and feel better now. You get to show up more excited.
I agree with that. The fact that your people will find you, and a community filled of like-minded people. And like-minded people doesn't mean everyone's the same. Like-minded people means that they have the same mindset, that positive, growth-centered mindset, that faith-fueled mindset, that hustle with heart mindset. That's what that means that those people have.
Okay. Resurrection time. You're in the season of it. And you're climbing the mountain. And oh man, after we stop this, I got a lot to share with you. I got a lot to share with you. I don't want to share it publicly yet. But now we're thinking about adding more value to the community. You got a community meeting tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. I got some ideas for the community too. I hope you don't mind me when I pop through my ideas sometime when
No.
we're in our community. But yeah. Okay, cool. So you're in resurrection season. What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is that I won't live up to the potential that God has for me. Like, that's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that I somehow, some way hold myself back from being and becoming the best version of me. It's funny. I was having a conversation with a friend earlier today, and I said, I want 3 simple things to align with for my business. I want to create impact that turns into income, that allows me to feel good about the work that I do. Those 3 things. And if I'm offered an opportunity to be a part of something and it doesn't allow me to do all 3 of those things, then it's not for me. And it's very cliche, and we hear people say it all the time. Impact and income, or is it income and impact? What is it to you? To me, it's the impact and the income. But I need to feel good about what I'm doing. If I don't feel good, and what I mean by feel good is that it needs to be aligned with my faith, with my morals, with my work ethic. I need to feel good about the work that I am doing in order for me to wake up passionate and fueled by purpose to do what I do each day. So many people don't have that same mindset. It's okay if it's not necessarily aligned my faith or my ethics, or it's okay because I'm making money and I'm helping people. No, not for me.
So I got your fear. I got a fear locked in. Okay. Then freedom. If you're free now, jettison something that you was carrying for a while and you figure out, let that thing off my back. Now you have the freedom. What is the fear of this freedom that you have?
The fear of the freedom.
You got a lot of freedom now. What you gonna do with it? Or what you not gonna do with it?
I guess fear of freedom would be that I would waste time distracted by the things that are shiny and bright and not aligned with my three things.
This is reality check right now.
Yeah.
Because you've never been in this season of your life. This is the first time you've done this. So this is the first time experience for you, Jess, to transition from one mountain to the next mountain. This kind of mountain we're talking about, right? So now you gotta figure out where I'm gonna go, and then now you gotta learn from the failure that you experienced on the last mountain. And what is the plan for that? Because a lot of people are surprised by walking a new path, not realizing that the same holes. Remember that's a portion that's in what you call it, a poem. That's the you walk on the hole, you walk on the street, fall in the hole, right? Is that you don't realize you're walking on a new street now, just but there's new pothole on that street. And if you don't watch them and be smart enough or wise enough, you're gonna fall in them same hole again. Because every new street got new holes, new potholes. So now you gotta figure out, okay, what's your new approach to this new journey, this new freedom, and the failures from the last mountain. How do you look back at that, reflect on that? Are you gonna write about it, document it, figure out how you gonna invert it, figure out the next side to it? All of that stuff plays a role now in this new season. Because resurrection season, what that really means. What does resurrection season mean for you or anybody that's listening? Because it's not just coming back from the dead. Like you got new life in you. That means you can die again, my friend. Oh yeah, you can die again. You gotta have a plan for the new death, because death doesn't you resurrect doesn't mean you can't die again, my friend. You can die again. Are you willing to not die for the same thing you just die for again? You know what I'm saying? So what are your thoughts?
As you were talking, I wrote a couple things down. And when I said waste time, right now in this valley that I'm in, I'm struggling with too much time and not enough time, both at the same time.
Mm.
And it does have to do with the fact that I haven't fallen into a new routine yet. And that's part of the becoming. You have to allow yourself grace in that becoming, but you also have to have discipline so that you don't fall back and that you can move forward in a way that's going to help you get closer to where you want to be. That is requiring me to be selfish so that I can be selfless. I've always put everyone in everyone's needs before my own. This is the first time in 51 years that I have been alive that I am not responsible for another human being. I don't have to make all the decisions for other people. I don't need to think about what's best for someone else. I get to do what I feel is best for me. But I've never had that before. So I don't necessarily know that I know what that is right now.
Here's why I would ship you off to this new boarding school. I would ship you out to this boarding school, and I think you have to build this new mindset. I know you mentioned impact and income and purpose, but the mindset piece is the way I have an abundance mindset now. I have a curiosity mindset. No, you got to build that one. Purpose mindset, a generosity mindset, whatever you want to call it, 10x mindset, whatever. But you got to sit down. You got to figure out what are the new mindset I'm going to occupy. I'm going to train myself, build a new routine around. Because I understand where you're going to, because when I transitioned from the military, it was very similar. I had to figure out what are the new mindset I want to emulate going forward. And I got to find people that are emulating those, are living those mindset. Then I got to figure out what are they doing, what are they thinking that cause them to stay in lockstep with those mindset. Because that's what's going to change your life. The mindset you decide you're going to leverage going forward, and that's the one you occupy. If not, I guarantee you will exercise the old mindset, because that's what life does. It pull you back into routine, And even though you're walking on a new street, the new pothole gonna show up. And if you don't have a new mindset that you're gonna use to work it, you're gonna fall and back into the old one that you used before. And that is a challenge with the resurrection and not falling back into the same thing that you did before. So what are those new mindset? Maybe you gotta sit and think about them, Jess, but I know you gotta sit down and really study and figure out these are the new ones for me. I'm gonna study them, I'm embody them, I'm gonna find people that are great at them so I can see what they're doing because I can learn from them because we learn from other people.
Absolutely. One of the things I say has been a superpower for me that I feel has been the thing to carry me in the midst of challenge is in my life has been my mindset with positivity and faith. The power perspective of this is happening for me and not to me. The ability to find goodness in what seems to be a difficulty in life that I have come to terms with. I don't need to have all the answers. I don't need to even understand why this is happening to me. I don't need to question why. I need to question what. What is the purpose of this? What do I need to learn? What do I lack that I need to develop? Those have been the things to carry me through the darkest, most difficult challenges of my life. If not that, I don't know if I'd be here today still having these conversations with you. But it's 100% spot on of developing the mindset of I was in fight or flight mode for such a long time of my life. I anchored on the fact that I was resilient, that I was courageous, the fact that I had the ability to survive. Those were the things that anchored me. But those very same things that anchored me were the reason why I wasn't living a fulfilled life. So now it's okay. Those things aren't bad. They're not. But those are the things that are part of the fight or flight that we all go through in life. But I need to replace that anchor with the things that are going to serve me in this new season to get out of the valley, to get to the new next big, bold, beautiful mountain. And the discovery part of that to me is exciting. It's scary and exciting.
Oh, that word anchor got me fired up. Let me talk about the anchor now. So we're using the mountain, but I'm gonna use another analogy here. So when you're on the ship, you drop your anchor, bottom of the ocean, boom, hooked up, not moving, it's stable. But when you're climbing a mountain, your anchor is on the top of the mountain. You throw your anchor to the top, it hooks up, you pull yourself up. So now, what is it that you're gonna anchor at the top of the mountain that's gonna keep you continuously moving towards the direction you want to move, hold you down, you can pull against it, it's solid, it hooks. Because if it doesn't hook right, it's gonna slip and you're gonna fall off the mountain. So it's a different kind of anchoring.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a
different kind of
different
when you
anchor.
climb it, a different kind of anchoring. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's looking up instead of looking back, looking down. I'm done with those days. I'm not looking back. I'm not looking down anymore. I'm looking up. Yes. It's funny because if someone would have said to me 1 year ago that this is where I would be in life today, I would have called them a liar. If that very same person a year ago would have asked me, is this the way you want to live the rest of your life? I would have told that same person, no, it's not. Why do I share that? Because for many people, we're in seasons of our life where we know that this is not how or what we want for the rest of our life. But as strong as we may feel that we are, sometimes we are comfortable in what we know and cannot find the courage to take the steps to move into the unknown. I was in that place Was it happy? Was it fulfilled? Was it the dream life that I thought I would have had? Hell no. Did I know that? Absolutely. But did I do anything to change that? Not until my back was up against the wall.
Jess. Oh, wait. All right. So I'm prepping this my little Maxim for my next podcast, Memories for Millions. And for some reason, this Jess, I'm just gonna share it. I might have to duplicate this with a different person to see how it plays out differently. This episode is brought to you by Live Changing Wisdom Marketplace. If you're an author, an aspiring author, or someone with a story the world needs to hear, this is where you build it. Your own storefront, your own merch, your own customer list. You keep 80% of the revenue, and you own your relationship with your readers. Amazon keep their customers. We help you keep yours. Visit livechangingwisdom.com. But I'm going on the list. How much time do you have, Jess? When is your next appointment?
We're good.
We're good? Okay. All right. We're going through this one, Jess, because you got to speak. I'm going to get you to speak today. Here's the first maxim, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Say the truth thing out loud more than you keep it safe in your head. This is a reverse side. Hold the truth in too long and you forget the sound of your own voice. What comes to mind to you for that when you hear that statement?
Hold the truth inside too long and you forget the sound of your own voice. Absolutely, 100%.
What story pops in your head when you hear that?
I had locked in on a reason, what I thought was a reason, but was really an excuse I was telling myself to justify staying in a situation that wasn't serving me anymore. I told myself that excuse so much for so long that I believed it to be truth. When my back was against the wall and I had no choice but to take the next step out of what was comfortable, out of what I knew my whole life, God provided in ways I don't know if I even thought was possible. That excuse was no longer valid. That reason wasn't a reason. It wasn't real. It wasn't right. But I told myself that thing for such a long time that I believed it to be truth. I say I'm fueled by faith. I say I have an unwavering belief in God. And yet when I should have put it all in God's hands, I was telling myself a lie, because that's essentially what it was, a lie that I hung on to that kept me in a season way longer than what I should have been in.
Speak, Jess, speak. Here's one more, because I feel
And I just want to say, I know I'm not the only one that did that. And I live in a very real, rooted reality mindset. I am not delusional. I don't believe, I tell people, let's dream big. Bigger than you could have imagined. So big that it scares you. So big that only you and God can understand it. But let's figure out the logistics on how you're going to get it. That's me, right? The logistics, the systems, the figure it out. I'm rooted in reality. And so for me to tell myself essentially an excuse that became the reason that was founded in a lie that I started to believe held me back from what God has for me. Like, okay. And I know I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. This is why it's going to be so powerful. Here's the next maxim here. Live the life you want more than the life that keeps other people comfortable. This is the flip side to that inversion. Shrink your life to fit other people and you end up a guest in it. How do you feel about that one? What story comes to mind?
I shrunk, Asher. I shrunk. And the crazy part is people looking from the outside would never think that I was shrinking. They would think of me as, oh, she has it. But like sometimes it's smoke in the mirror. It's not real. It's the mask that we wear to hide our truth, to be able to face the world and be this version of who people think we are, what people want for us. So many people live in that space. So many people have a Listen, if you would have come to my house, yes, I had the art masks on the wall, but there was a hole behind the desk. There was a mask for every day of the week, every different room I stepped in, because it was the only way I could hold it and keep it together. There was even a mask that I wore at home. Is that any way to live? And is that truly living? No, it's absolutely not. So to be able to take off the mask, to throw those bad boys in the trash and be like, this is me unapologetically, like me, love me, whatever. We all know I am not everyone's cup of tea, but I am someone's cup of cafecito, and I'm good with that. I'm no longer willing to shrink myself to fit and make other people feel good.
Okay. I like your response to that. Here's goes another one. You go on this one. Let people meet the real you more than the version you clean up for them. The inversion of that, lead with the cleanup version and they'll fall for someone who is not there.
Repeat those again. I think we're going to say the first one, but let's repeat that again.
Okay, you can respond to the first one. Let people meet the real you more than the version you clean up for them. The inversion, lead with the clean up version and they fall for someone who is not there.
Oh no, we lead with the cleanup version and people fall for someone who's not there. And the falling for someone who's not there is the person that people perceived me to be as I had it all. But the question really was, did I? When you took off the mask, I didn't have it all. From the outside, yeah, it looked like I did. It looked like my life was as close to perfection as it could be. But was it? No.
Okay. Let's try this other one. Number 4 here. Trust the pull toward the new more than the comfort of the known. Inversion of that. Stay where it is safe, and safe slowly becomes a cage.
Oh, we know the answer to that one. I stayed where it was safe. It became my prison. It became
tell us more about that. Tell us more about it. Walk us through that, because this got a lot of people in the situation, Jess, and you have to help them. You're gonna have to help them navigate and guide through this because you're fresh off that mountain right now.
Staying where you are safe seems like the easy choice for most people. But the truth is, it's not the easy choice, because it doesn't ever get better. It only gets harder. It's being able to, you can only control what you can control. You can't control other people. You can't control outside factors. You can only control what you control. You deciding or choosing to stay out of fear, out of doing what you feel is the right thing, out of the excuse that became the anchor of your lie that was the rationale to why you stayed as long as you stayed.
The anchor of your lie. That is so deep. I don't know if you know what you were saying. You're dropping gems right now, Jess.
That, to me, becomes almost like a prison, because you're not truly living. You are not authentic. You are not living in a faith-fueled, give it all to God and he'll work it out. You don't have to have the answers. Just give it to God. How many people have I said that to? And I wasn't living that, because I was so afraid of this season that I'm in right now that I'd rather shrink I'd rather lie to myself. I'd rather be unhappy than to take that step into an unknown place that's hard. I'll put the emphasis on hard. Really hard. But for some people, not all people, there comes a day where your back is to the wall and you have no choice. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. And that's where I was. Literally, I thought I had a plan. I thought I had a plan. I hadn't even shared the plan with you. What I needed to do for my life to be able to change. And then God was like, the hell with that plan, Jessica. I got a plan. And then from one day to literally one, I'm like, why is it that God does this in my life? Literally, all the major things that have happened in my life from one day to the next. From one day to the next. One day my life is this way. The next day my life is completely different. This is, I'm going to say, the fourth time in my life that God has completely changed everything. Yes.
Ripped up your plan?
Yep. Yep. Like the fourth time in my lifetime. In the 51 years of my life, God had, this is like the fourth time that on a Tuesday, my life looks like this. And on Wednesday, my life looks like that.
Jess, I'm telling you, I didn't plan this. I was working on this prep document, and for some reason, I think it's for you. I don't know. But here's the next one, number 5 on the list. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Pack up and go more than you wait for the perfect time. The flip side. Wait for the perfect time, and the time waits with you forever.
I was waiting for the perfect time, Asher. I just told Asher. I think you wrote these questions for me. Is right, Asher. I was waiting for the perfect time. You didn't plan it. God did, right? There's no coincidence. There's only God. He had this conversation all planned out and ready to go for us. Listen, in my heart, I had my bags packed. In my head, there was no way all my things could fit in my bags.
That's a reason to stay, because you can't fit what you want to travel with. 2 suitcases is not enough. I can't go yet.
But guess what? That was also, in some ways, an excuse that the anchor was being held on. Did I need all of those things to be happy? Did I need all of those things to be who I am today? Did I need that life, that version of me? Obviously not. I needed joy in my life more than I needed the things.
Say it again, preacher sister. I got one more. Hold on.
I needed joy in my life more than I needed the things.
Here's the next one. I'm going on the list. Whatever the universe has planned for you, you have to respond to it.
How many questions are on this list, by the way?
I have 13, but we're on number 6 now. Okay. It says, build the life people dream about more than the dream about it too. Hold on. Build the life people dream about more than you dream about it too. The flip side. Dream for years and stay put, and you become the thing you envy. What pops in your head when you hear those words, Jess?
I was jealous. I was jealous, Asher. I was jealous. I was envious. The world that we live in today, driven in this microwave society where everyone wants everything instantly, and the facade that people give to the world on social media, even in real life, the mask that they wear. Most people are faking the funk. They are pretending and not leaning into the reality so that people realize that they are not alone. No one has the perfect life. I don't care who you think. More money, more problems. You think about so many people live a life of comparison. So many people compare where they are to someone, and maybe they're in the beginning of their journey, to someone else's end or to someone else's middle. We think we have to say this or present ourselves like this in order for the world or the people around us to like us or accept us. No, that's not true. I'm not telling you to go and use your Facebook and your Instagram and your LinkedIn like your therapist and your journal, but everyone has a hard day. Everyone makes a mistake. The difference is there are people who grow from those mistakes and those challenges, and then there are people that keep repeating them. People that are so blinded by things that are shiny and new and bright that distract them from reality. Let's not present ourselves to the world in a way where everything seems good, perfect, beautiful, and behind the scenes, it's Hot Mess Express. What do I mean by that? Do people need to know my private business? Absolutely not. I'm kind of sharing, but I'm kind of not. People who know me know. People who don't know me, they're going to speculate. Let them speculate. They'll be talking about me. I want them to talk about me. But guess what? Me being able to sit here and have this so real, transparent, authentic conversation with you makes me feel better. You know why? Because I don't have to hide behind a mask anymore. I'm becoming. This is the next chapter. It's a new book I'm about to write. Is it going to unfold perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm okay with that.
You're speaking today, sister. I'm gonna let you carry on with some more thoughts. I want to see what thought or story this is gonna trigger for you in here. This other one here. Number 7. We almost there. We halfway. Let yourself be seen as you are more than you manage how you come across. The flip side is that manage how you come across long enough, and the people near you meet a stranger.
I was managing how I was coming across. The crazy part is, even so, personally and professionally, I've been managing life. So much to the point where my own family, one, they didn't know what was happening necessarily in my personal life. They kind of did, but they kind of didn't. And they have no clue what's happening in my professional life. None. They kind of think they know, but they don't really know, and they wonder. And it's so funny. My dad was asking me the other day, so is that part of your network marketing company, or is that the other thing that you do? And I was laughing at him. I was like, no, Dad, it's not part of my network marketing company. It's part of the other thing that I do. But ask my dad what that other thing is. He couldn't tell you, right? My mom is so funny. She's like a social media voyeur. She doesn't post. She just goes on social platforms to see what other people are doing. And which is why when she met you at the book signing from Memoirs to Millions, she felt like she knew you because she had seen our clips of our videos. And then one day we were shopping in Puerto Rico, I mentioned to you, and my mom saw a hat and she was like, this looks like for Asher, right? And I'm like, Ma, what do you know about Asher? Meanwhile, she's watching our clips and listening to our podcast to hear what it is that I'm doing, but you still ask her, she has no clue. So it's like, all right, what is it that you're actually doing? Are you putting yourself out there in an authentic way where people know who you are and what you do? Or are you narrating to different groups of people who you are and what you do? How can I expect people to buy into me when they don't even know who I am, what do I do?
Here's another one. Speak the recent truth more than you hide behind the old story. Stay in the old story, and the person you are right now stay a stranger. Man, these are lining up. Just, I'm telling you, the universe got me writing this morning. This was for you. I didn't plan this. What pops in your head?
It's funny. It's my truth to tell too. I get to tell it to who I want, when I want, how I want, for the purpose that I want. Not everyone is entitled to know the intimate truths of our life, but those truths will set you free from the burden that you carry from carrying, like hiding. I cannot imagine. All right, we're going in.
Yes.
I don't think I've shared this part of my life. So I was raised by two dads. At a very young age, I was acting out And my dad felt that I was acting out because of my home life. And so I grew up very non-traditional. We've heard me about my modern family, but he had a conversation with me at a young age. I must have been like 8 or 9 years old. And it was a heavy conversation for a small child. And essentially the conversation was we had to hide who we were because the world wasn't accepting of us. And I carried that as a child. I carried it into my adult life for a very long time of hiding the truth because the world wouldn't accept us. Then I got to a point in my life where I said I would never hide my truth again. And yet, as an adult, I did that very same thing.
The cycle repeat. It's like resurrection happened, but you end up falling back in the same habit because a new mindset wasn't built. What was that new mindset you need to set in place so you can build it so you will build a different future for yourself? If not, repeat. Ooh. Yeah. Jess, this one gonna be a hot one. Let me go to this next list. The next one on the list here. Here's this. I'm telling you, Jess, I'm not making this up. It just happened. Number 9. Let the new chapter cost you the old one more than you carry both. Flip side. Refuse to close the old chapter and you read 2 books and finish neither. What pops in the mind? What that trigger for you? I'm curious. Talk to us.
There's a new book, a new chapter. That chapter is closed. That book is sealed. There is a padlock on it. I am not going back. It is so very easy. Even after you've taken the first steps, the hardest steps, it is so very easy to want to go back. Why? Because the first steps you have taken have been fucking hard. Scary and hard. They have been hard. And I don't care who you are. No one likes to do hard things. No one.
Unless
Even though the hard things.
Unless you're David Goggins.
What?
Unless you're David Goggins.
Whatever. No one likes to do the hard things. No one. But how much harder would it be if I chose to stay in that old chapter of my life, in that old book? Listen, that old book that I wrote for 35 years has beautiful chapters in it.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Beautiful chapters. Chapters that some people could only dream about. And then it has chapters that are horrific. That it's like you question, how did you survive for so long? Do the bad chapters outweigh the good chapters? I don't know. Would I change any of the chapters? Absolutely not. Because all the chapters made me who I am today. All those experiences, all those things that I overcame, that I lived through, that I lived with, that they didn't not happen for a reason. And while the things were a surprise to me, they were not a surprise to God. While the things that I felt were the dark chapters in the book actually helped me see the light in other chapters. It helped me be able to be grateful. Are there seconds in the day still today where I think about the old book? Yeah. But then I'm quickly reminded that this new story that I am writing, this is what God wants for me. This is what I want for me.
Here's another one. Number 10. We're almost there. Choose the unconventional yes more than the safe and quiet no. Flip side. Say the safe no enough times and you teach yourself to want less. What pops in your mind for that? What comes to mind? What that trigger for you? What story shows up?
Today, now, I want more. Today, now, I want more. I want more. I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to surround myself with people who will help me become that person of me. I want to say, listen, you can only say no to the things that you know. You cannot say no to something you don't know because you don't know it yet. I've been presented with several opportunities lately. I'm like, this is weird how life is happening, but I'm rolling with it. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I'm saying I need to know more. Because if I know more, then I can make a well-informed decision based on what I know. Is it always going to be the right decision? But I do know that if I say no without actually knowing what I'm saying no to, I would be doing a disservice to what's waiting for me in the future. So it's not about that I'm not saying no. It's about that I am saying no from a place of know better, to do better, to be better. That's where I'm saying no from. So it's not quite like the year of yes that got me started in this podcast, by the way. It's not quite like that. Not quite like that. But it is more about a season of exploration.
Here is where you just validate. We talk about the curiosity mindset, curiosity. You just did it. I'm not saying no. I was saying no, so I want to know more. So you just demonstrate to your audience or to anyone that's listening what that curiosity mindset looks like. We talk about the abundance mindset, the curiosity mindset, the purpose mindset, the generosity mindset, all these mindsets we talk about. You just demonstrate that. I have another one for you. This is number 11. Stand in what you believe more than you soften it for the people in front of you. The reverse side, if you want me to read it again. Stand in what you believe more than you soften it for the people in front of you. The flip side is soften it for the people in front of you, and one day you cannot find the edge of yourself. Any stories come to mind here?
From the old book, one of the things that I've had to work on over the years, and I think I've shared this before, was my delivery of the truth. My coach told me I was brutally honest, and people can't take that. Even though what you're saying is true and right, people can't take brutal honesty because then it's like a mirror and they got to look back and they don't want to look at themselves and swallow their truth pill. So over the years, I'm going to say it was a combination of the two. I was very brutally honest. I didn't mince the words. I said it like it needed to be said. Black and white, the truth. And that didn't make anything better. So then I felt if I tried that and it didn't work, maybe I need to soften it. Maybe I need to skate around the truth and not really, I don't even know what the word would be. I had to soften it. I had to make it seem something that it wasn't, even though I knew what the truth was. And that didn't work. And why didn't either one of those work? Because the truth is a hard pill to swallow. And so which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And if you're so fixated on a lie that you tell yourself as the justification of why you do what you do when you do, then no matter what anyone says, whether it's brutally honest or the softened version of the truth, you're not going to accept neither one of them.
I think what you were reaching for here, that I think we all lack the skill in, myself included, took me a while to learn it, is how to turn on the empathy editor when you speak. That one is a skill you got to put a lot of work into learn. I'm telling you, brutal honest truth, too soft, and neither one of them get through the noise. You got to learn the empathy editor. So I'll add that to your list. But here's another one for you, Jess. Number 12. Let them call it too much more than you make yourself easy to swallow. I'm saying it again. Let them call it too much, more than you make yourself easy to swallow. The flip side is make yourself easy to swallow, and they accept a version of you that is not you. We just mentioned that, but this is a line. Might agree or disagree to that statement, but what are your thoughts?
Crazy. If you ask other people the question, I was too much and not easy to swallow. If you ask me the question, I was too easy. Why? Because I allowed things to happen in my life that I shouldn't have. And I say allowed. Was it my fault? No. Did I have control over it? Yeah. You know how I had control over it? I could have taken that first step. I could have decided to close the chapter and start a new book, start a new story, become a new version of me. But I didn't make that choice. Instead, I allowed the thing that was slowly destroying me. And when I say destroying, that was stealing my joy. Yes, happiness is an inside job. I determine if I am happy. No one, nothing determines whether or not we are happy. Yes, absolutely. Was I happy? I was fulfilled in so many different areas of my life, and I was empty in so many others, both at the same time. Could I have changed that? Yes, if I took the first step that I was so afraid to take because of the lie I was telling myself that became the reason and the excuse. But I'm grateful because all those lessons that taught me what I will never settle for again, what I will never allow for again, what I will listen. I know I said it's hard right now. It is very hard. But can I find joy and happiness in these hard moments? Yes. I have a sense of peace that I don't know if I've ever really had before. But let me tell you, loneliness is a real thing. And I know I've always said I'm a loner. I like to be home. I don't know if I honestly really understood it before.
But here's the good thing about it, Jess. You get to be kindergarten self. You get to go out there and go make some new friends. You get to go on the playground and take your toy out there and trying to find somebody to play with you. Kickball, whatever, but you get to go back into that place. And if you feel like you can't do it, then you have not understand yourself very well, because we can always make new friends.
Yep.
We can always find new people to hang out with, because you're right again. He was saying that environment matters for you when it comes to happiness and joy. Environment matter a whole lot. They forget that variable, the environment. If it ain't right, you can make yourself happy, but how long can you sustain that? Because the environment going, you know, you know. I wrote this newsletter called "Shaken Not Stirred." And James Bond walk into the bar and just give me a vodka martini, shaken not stirred. Life is like, because oftentimes James Bond do it when he's in a situation where it's like, give me a vodka martini, shaken not stirred. Shaken means, man, I'm going through some stuff right now and life is shaking me, but I ain't stirred. I'm a little shaken. I almost lost my life just now. That guy almost killed me. I'm shaken up by it, but I ain't stirred. Because stirred meaning that what? I no longer recognize myself. Everything is so mixed in. I don't know who I am. I know who I am. I'm gonna beat this thing. I'm a little shaken, but I'm gonna still beat this thing, right? Let's go to
I'm shaking right now, not stirred.
not stirred. There you go. Shaken, not stirred. Last one, number 13. Begin the next dream the morning after the win more than you rest on it. Flip side, rest on the win and the next dream start without you in it. That's our closing one. What comes to mind when you hear those words? Shaken, not stirred.
I cried for 3 days and now I'm on. It's on time. It's time to get on. It's not skip over the hard parts. It's closing the chapter and starting a new book with all the lessons and blessings and experiences that have formed you to become who you are today. Those 3 days of crying served me probably let me tell you, 3 days of crying I cried at the dentist. I cried at Target. I cried on my couch. I cried in my bed. I cried everywhere I went. Almost to the point where it was like me looking at someone I didn't recognize. I'm like, why am I crying in Target? It was nothing happening in Target to make me cry. I was just crying. And I was like, it is what it is. I'm not the only person on the planet that cries. If there's an empathetic human being, they'll ask me if I'm okay. If not, I'll go in my car and drive home and finish crying some more. By the way, no one asked me if I was okay, which I was like, what kind of world do we live in? But whatever, that'll be a conversation for another day. But those 3 days served me well. They made me feel uncomfortable. They made me feel unsure. They made me feel so many things. But at the end of the crying, I felt a sense of relief and almost a release of it's okay to cry. And anyone who tells you that it's not, shame on them. I needed to feel those feelings in order to be able to move forward, because if I would have tried to suppress them, if I would have tried to ignore them, if I would have tried to make it like it's not happening, then there's no way that I can move forward, because I didn't put closure to that end of the book. So
we're gonna close with water. We can close on water. Because if we're built with water. And then when something is being a concrete that's supposed to be released and you're holding in, the only way to let it roll, let it flow, is for it to move like water. So in your moment of resurrection, you had to do what? You gotta release the spring. You gotta open the dam. And you gotta let it flow. And if you try not to let it flow, you're gonna explode.
You'll drown is what'll happen, because it'll just take over. You'll drown if you don't open the dam and release the water. You will drown. And to me, that is not an option. Do I still have my moments? Obviously, here you got me teary-eyed talking about stuff, right? But they're not moments of maybe we should unseal the old book. It's not that. It's moments of realizing, here I am telling people every day that I wake up and I thank God for a new day of life. And the prayer that I pray is, Lord, help me be better, do better. Was I actually living that? Because I knew better, but I wasn't really doing better. And so that's why I was shaken, but not stirred.
But I disagree. I think the be better, do better thing is happening. So when you hear somebody says, I'm a life coach, and oftentimes people miss what that title really means. A life coach, there's so many dimensions within the life, right? So there's different areas in your life that you need a coach in. Because a life coach is not an expert at life. Not personal life, professional. Some people still got areas like, man, I suck in this area. I need somebody to help me. Guide me through this. So you was doing better, being better in areas, but some areas you was just like, man, I know what to do better and be better, but I'm scared. I'm scared to walk in that path because I don't know. I don't know if I want to deal with that guy on the street, right? So it's all about just recognizing that some places you're doing better and being better. Some places you're being better, but you ain't doing better.
It's funny that you say that. I am going to shout out someone. So during this whole, according to you, vacation that I took, I did a rapid transformational therapy session with Shelly Bowe, who is a RTT therapist. And it was a transformational experience. I highly recommend anyone who is struggling with a particular area in their life to book a session with Shelly. She will have you seeing things from a completely different perspective, and it's overcoming that mindset of really just focusing in on kind of, I'm going to say, manifesting the reality of your life, but because you've overcome the things that have held you back. One of the things she said, not her exact words, but she said, people would be blessed to work with you. because of what you've experienced in your lifetime and what I have to give as a result of the experiences that I've overcome, that I've lived through. And my story is not your story, but I could empathize with what you've lived through, what you've gone through because of what have I experienced in life. And so being able to have the ability to connect with people in a meaningful way for life and business, to me, is part of the plan that God has had for me. And that's why life has unfolded in the way that it has. If you know me, I'm obsessed with folding clothes. On a side note, folding laundry is therapeutic to me, but it has to be folded in a certain way. And I've learned there's more than one way to fold a shirt. There's one right way. There's other ways too. And so getting used to the fact that the other ways are just as good.
we going so Jess, thank you for those words, and shout out to Shelly Bow. Here's what I just came up with as I'm listening to you talking about the old book, because you haven't written it yet, by the way, which is time for you to write it. But I think the title might be 35 to Life. I feel like 35 to Life might be an interesting read. I'm just saying. What are you thinking about?
Don't tell people. Yes. 35 to Life. That's the name of it. 35 to Life.
Yeah. No, you can share with people. I mean, nobody can, they can't steal yourself.
The excitement of what that book is going to be about, reveal of that book, and the surprising lessons that book will help people through. Working with you, being friends with you, my little brother, since we all know that I'm older than you, help me with the selfish part in a good way. You've told me before it would be selfish for you to experience that and not share it with other people. And in some ways, I agree. And that's where the selfish to be selfless part is becoming.
That's a chapter in there.
Yeah.
Selfish to be selfless. Yeah. I'm looking forward, Jess, and we got plenty of ways to wrap this up. But it's been a good month, almost 2 months of me crushing it by myself. So you know that.
I know, Asher. I know.
But it's good to have you back on the team. We kind of had you on the bench for a while. You was bench warming. I don't know what you were doing back there bench warming for so long. You told me it was going to take you a few weeks. And
all right, but I'm like the
Knicks.
I'm like the New York Knicks. We made history.
Took you 50-something years, but okay.
Exactly.
Okay. What is your biggest takeaway from this before we wrap up?
My biggest takeaway is I'm okay in the valley right now. I need the time here right now to get to that mountain, to get to the top of the mountain. And while I don't plan to be in the valley for forever, I'm embracing the growth. I'm embracing the becoming. I'm embracing this season of discovery and exploration. And I'm excited. And I will repeat, scared. It's not easy, but it's okay. I was made to do hard things. That I know.
That I agree 100% with that. And you find some okay friends or some great friends or some other kind of friends you want to describe them in the valley to help scale the mountains. Hey, I'm into this mountain. Who wants to come with me?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you this question before you wrap up. If you gotta say, okay, let me put it this way. I want to see what those people you want to climb the mountain with. But I'm gonna have you say it this way. Describe it. If you had a kid and the kid is lost and you're looking for your kid, but you gotta describe to the police officer or somebody what your kid look like so they can help you find your kid. Right? So you know exactly what your kid look like. Hey, this is what you describe. So now, if you had to describe that kid, because that's your audience, the people you're looking for, is your kid that's lost, but you're gonna use the idea of describing your kid to them so they can help you find it. How would you describe your kid? Does that make sense?
Yes.
If not, I can try to explain it again.
I think so. So my kid is curious and adventurous and in search of happiness. So he's not quite sure the right path to take.
We gotta pick him out of the crowd.
What does my kid look like? What does my kid physically look like?
Yeah, because we gotta find him. I'm one of the officers on the street. We're gonna walk around New York City trying to pick your kid up because your kid run away from her somewhere, you got lost.
What does my kid look like?
You gotta pick your kid out of the crowd. You gotta just pick your kid.
Kid looks like my son.
Okay, we're not talking about your son, but we're talking about
I
your
know.
ideal client here. But we trying to.
I know. So what does my kid look like? My kid looks like somebody who has a few scars from trying things that didn't quite work out. They are, my kid is mature in that they know what they want. They just don't know how to get it. And they rock a Hustle with Heart t-shirt.
Okay, what's the age of your kid? What are you thinking?
The age of my kid, I'm going to say, it's funny because different season of my life, I've thought of my kid as a different age. Right now, the age that I think my kid is, and it's going to be a large gap in the sense of like, I know who I was at 35. I don't know who I will be at 65, but I do know that it's never too late to start, but it is later than what you think. And so I want to say that between 35, and it's crazy. I have someone that I work with, a client that I work with, who is 69. You would never know the person was 69 years old. Not physically, not mindset, nothing. But they've lived a whole lifetime without pursuing their dreams, and now they're ready. And it's not too late. So
69 is a good number then.
69 is a good number. Yeah.
Okay. Being that I'm a police officer on the streets of New York, I might be able to find your kid running around in New York City. I try my best to, if I find anybody that fit that description.
And you'll find my kid praying somewhere, by the way. You'll find my kid praying somewhere.
So he might be in a church somewhere praying?
Yeah, he may be in a church. He may be standing on the corner in the city in Times Square preaching, God, please help me find my mom. But my kid is praying somewhere, just so we know.
Okay. All right. We should be able to lock the kid down and bring the kid your way. Jess, this has been a great conversation, by the way. Any last word before we wrap up? Close up.
Thank you. Thank you for cheering me and checking me and not letting me too far off the leash.
All right. With that, make it an utterly fantastic day.